Afternoon, we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 1:30. Will you poll the board, please?
Matt Elliott,
Present.
Jon Draper, Tal Rancourt, Pam Brewer, Jack Comley,
Thank you. We have a quorum. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Will you poll the board, please?
Pam Brewer. Yes. Jack Comley,
Yes.
Matt Elliott,
Yes. Motion carries. New business. Utility rates.
I attached Florida Rural Water utility rates to the agenda. We're looking at a 27% increase. The Florida Rural Water is coming to the second meeting this month to explain it to the council. If you want to give me a motion to approve or not, and then we can move it on to the council.
Do I hear a motion to recommend that?
You said a 27% increase? Or-
Yeah, it's going to be a 22 for the water and then 5% for the wastewater.
Okay.
That's recommended by Florida Rural Water. After they looked at all our assets and how we stand with financial and things to be done.
Is there a second?
I'm not going to second that.
You said no?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay?
Okay. We won't recommend that then. How about a 30%? Would you go that?
No, I think the other way.
Okay.
Judge, just to let you know, still bringing it towards town commission. I believe it's the second council meeting in September. That's when they're giving their presentation. Appreciate you.
Who is?
Florida Rural Water's giving their presentation to the council.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, since it didn't pass here, I'm still bringing it towards the board. I mean, commission.
Sure.
Yep. It's, where we at? There goes this.
All right. This item number 4 then.
Can you scroll that up, Tina? Leanne?
yeah, I don't have that.
She's got it. There we go. I guess my director's report. Okay, there we go. And just another update for you too, the budget, we're still working through that. That's why I haven't brought it to you yet. So we're waiting for, finish up the workshops on that one, but you'll see it probably the next meeting. Okay, we're just going to do the director's report. Projects, it's just updates on this. Florida Water to give presentation to town council in September. I believe it's the second meeting on utility rate increases. I received 2 quotes for lift stations and 1 quote for manhole rehabilitation, which would be lining. I attached them just for... I received 2 quotes, okay, for 2 lift station and 1 manhole rehab. It was attached here from Green Monster, which would work under Manatee County piggyback. I just wanted to show you the basic prices right now. We don't have the money to do them at this time, but I just wanted to keep you aware, and this is what the costs are roughly going to be for rehab of all our lift stations that direly need it. So you know, as we move forward, try to find the money and try to get some of these things done. I'm just making you aware of the cost, and it ain't cheap, so.
The one fire hydrant, I think that you said the other week, was still out of service. What needs to be done for that? Does it have to be completely replaced? Or?
Yes, it's just, we just received the hydrant, so we're just waiting on locates, and we're going to probably get it done this week or the first of next.
Okay, so we've got the parts and we're working on it.
Yep, hydrant came in last week.
Thank you.
Wastewater treatment plant construction is on pace, and expected completion is February 26th still. Pannoni Engineering is overseeing the project and moving forward. We're approximately 55%, maybe a little higher. I just had a progress meeting with them today, but we're on schedule to get that done. LPC 3 water main installation, Lake Drive East. For the camping conference, it's still being with the attorney's hands, and we're working that out still. South Plant lift station to decommission the South treatment plant is moving along. They're about 45% right now. That runs up 27 up to Lake Mirror Road and over to Lake Drive East. They're doing pressure tests and moving along. Should be done by December. Main Street and Maquata lift stations. The Maquata, they're excavating right now, and structures should be here this week. We have the pumps waiting on generator and control panels. And for the Main Street, hopefully within a week or so, we should have the structures there. Both these projects are slated for around December completion, and they'll still be on time. We filled positions internally. The project manager, we made it part-time. We moved Brandon Robinson to that position for 32 hours a week, $30 an hour, which is his current pay. And then a vehicle allowance because he has to drive out to the plants and do all that stuff. He's using his own vehicle. Meter reader, we just started today. Marvin Brown, he goes by JR, I'm sorry. He started today. Meter reader, $16 an hour. So we're going to be doing more moving of internal employees to different positions, trying to move them up in the system here. Planning on moving one meter reader over to distribution, taking another meter reader as a trainee wastewater treatment operator. We're going to get his license and everything, so we're moving people around, and then we'll probably have to hire another meter reader. Not changing staff numbers or nothing, we're just moving people around and upgrading them to advance them. Okay, up to see, grant updates. Nothing's changed. The window never opened this year. So we are trying at a couple other spots, but nothing definite at this time. The 319 grant, which would be for paying for lift stations to hook the force mains on private property. We'll know in October sometime if we get that. It's just vehicles and equipment need to be replaced. I have 3 vehicles. I have 1 in the budget right now, and then moving on. These are due to age and condition. They're all over 12, 13 years old or older. And that basically is my report. Any questions?
Yeah, just the other fire hydrants they already fixed. What were the problems with them as far as, was it replacing the hydrant or?
Oh, which one's that one, Jack?
I think you said the original report said there were about 3 of them that weren't working, and you said you had got 2 of them working or something like that?
So basically, I think 2 were accidents, and we replaced them.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one was probably they went to operate it and stem broke or something, so they replaced the parts on it. So we only have that one hydrant out of service at this time.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, depending on budget and stuff, my last position, we hired a contractor to come out every other year. No, they did it every year, but you only have to do it every other, to do flow test, maintenance on them. But it's a very expensive process because of contractors. We just don't have the staff right now to perform these testing and maintenance on them. We do a few a year, but we don't get them done, all of them.
Okay, so
So that's something I'm working on.
you're not just opening the hydrants to see that they flowing, you're
Right.
actually,
So the contractor I used, he went out to each one, inspected it, turned in the isolation valve for the hydrant, greased the caps, added oil to the bonnet, did a flow test, GIS'd it, and then gave us recommendations for repairs, and they painted all of them. So I have to work on that and see if we can come up with some kind of plan on that. So it's
Okay.
a very vital thing for the town,
yeah.
so.
And what about the progress on replacing the water meters with the, I'll call them electronic meters or whatever that,
Oh, the water meters?
yeah.
We're doing them in-house, but it's taking some time. The meter readers are doing them, but they're doing them after they get their meter reads and other, tasks, and then they are out there doing replacement of the meter boxes and adding the new radios or the cellular meters.
Any idea of the percentage of the project that is done approximately?
Deanne, do you have an idea?
We have over 350 completed.
And we have like 3,000, so.
Okay, so 10% or so.
Yep. So we're working on them, so when that's online, like I said, we installed those radio antennas on Tomoka and Highway Park, so when they get the new radios in, they'll be able to find them on the line for the resident, plus all the reads will come automatically to Town Hall. So we get them in, then we'll have more time, for hydrant maintenance and stuff like that, because we won't be doing as many reads.
Okay,
Is that something we can tie into now if you're on one of those meters and look at your rates and stuff, your usage?
Some of them are, if they've been upgraded to the new radios or the cellular.
Okay.
So there should be a way should be able to, is that viewable on the town website yet? Leanne?
Being able to see
Yes.
the Neptune stuff?
Yes.
No, that's a separate package that has to be purchased.
Okay, so she says not at this time, there's not a separate package that has to be purchased, but we'll probably end up getting that as soon as we get the meters in.
Okay.
Again, another cost factor.
All right. So it looks like you have a $480,000 deficit for this year you're going to have. So without a rate increase, where's all that money going to come from? Or even if we do a rate increase, that won't go into effect till next year.
Yeah.
So where does that come from?
Well, no, the rate increase will come probably shortly after it's been approved. But then the revenue will start coming in after it's approved. You don't have to wait a year for that.
Okay. But that'll be for the 2026 budget, right?
Yes, so
So how are we going to fix the $480,000 deficit for
So
25?
basically, with our budget this year, we kept it flat and the same as last year. And we ran a deficit there too, so
Okay.
the reserves are at such a point, it's not worth raising up our budget. We're still drawing them from the reserves, so.
Okay.
So if we get the rate increase, it will help us as you look at the charts and everything in there. They project where our revenue should be at, and then we can increase our operation budget as we go as needed to overcome some of these deficiencies that we have right now.
Right.
I have a question on the, I guess, the base rate and the charge per 1,000 gallons, right? Do the residents of the city pay the same rate as the county residents that we feed? Or at one
No.
time, there was a difference there, right?
They're still different.
Still?
We checked into that new statute or law went in effect, it doesn't apply to us. They'll still get charged at 25%
Okay,
outside town limits.
whatever
Yep.
percentage it is, yeah, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
I don't know why we ask people to figure things out for us and then we ignore their recommendations. Florida Rural Water does a terrific job. And we have consistently lost money in this utility. There's no reason why we should do that. We need to at least cover our costs.
I agree with you.
But you don't need to do it in 1 year, or most of it in 1 year.
Well,
I mean, it's been, obviously, you're new here, the city
Yes.
city administrator is new here and whatnot, you know, not blaming you guys.
No,
But
no, I understand.
Obviously, it's been mismanaged apparently for years and years. And to try and correct all of it in 1 or 2 years, I don't think is right to the residents.
Well, based on Florida Rural Water, you know, they have a program. They see where your deficits are and what you're missing. They figure, they go on, you know, funds collected and deficits paid out, and that 22% for the water side is for 1 year. If you looked at the pamphlet, then it would be a 5% after that, and I think for the next 3 or 4 years.
8,
According to my calculations, it was like 10% for the next couple of years, I think, after that, and then dropped down to 5%.
No. Take a look at that.
I guess my calculator's broken then.
So for 26, it would be 22. Okay, you are correct. I'm sorry about that. And then it's 8, 8, 8, then 5. But these numbers aren't locked in. See if we get more connections and we get other things, we could do another study and then adjust from there. These are just projected numbers as where we're sitting right now. If things improve with, you know, more connections, we can do this in another 2 years and then they might come down or they might stay flat. I'm not sure. But like I said, at this point, we're running a deficit. You know, we like Pam said, the utilities should be sufficient, and you should break even, but you should be able to fund some projects in town also.
And you can see how, you know, it wasn't mismanaged. There was not enough money to buy the things that needed replaced.
Well, that's because it was mismanaged. They didn't have high enough rates over the last, 10 years or maybe 20 years or more.
Right. And this isn't the only
Like I say, I'm
community
not
that
blaming the
has
people
done
who are
that,
here
so-
now, in charge. They had nothing to do with that. But to try and make it all up, or most of it, in 1 year, I mean, probably all of us in here can easily afford it. But what about the people that are renters in town, right? Their rent's going to go up to cover that, right? And some of them will be moving out, right? And you're trying to build the city up, but yet you're tearing it down, population-wise.
You cannot allow it to continue. You've got to do something. You cannot
put a Band-Aid on
ignore
it.
the past, but you have to learn from it. You've got to fund these positions. You've got to, if you've got a utility, make sure that it makes money. There's no reason why it hasn't. And burying your head in the sand and saying, oh, we can't bother these people. Somebody's gonna have to be bothered. Somebody has to pay the piper.
Eventually, yes, but not all in 1 year.
It's no different than Placid Lakes Utilities. You know, every time we go for a rate increase, the PSC cuts us down and cuts us down so that we never make any money. You don't have that, so you can make the decisions to make this utility at least break even. You can't keep running it into the ground. And if that's not what we're here for, then I'm done.
What are your water rates in Placid Lakes?
Placid Lakes Utilities, our base rate is $13 and some odd cents.
Okay, and what about, how much per 1,000 gallons?
Yeah, our usage is, I don't know, 4 something, per 1,000 gallons.
Okay, because I looked up the rates for Sebring. I actually looked up the rates for the state in general, right, averages, right? For rural areas, the rates tend to be a little bit less than, you know, Orlando and the big cities, right? And the rates were like, according to the,
They should be more.
no, they're less because there's less infrastructure.
But ours haven't been there, is what she's saying. What have the rates been the last 8 years in those towns? They've been more than us.
I don't know, I'd only had what, the 20,
Right.
I think the 24 was the latest figures that were there, you know, and it was like,
She's just saying we can't keep putting a Band-Aid on it. The council looks to us for recommendation to get this right. Draw a line in the sand and get it right. If we can't even meet today's expectations, then tomorrow it's just going to be more for the next year, the next year, the next year.
And I can't tell you how many people come in as new customers from over on the coast or out of state or anywhere else and are just absolutely amazed that we're giving our water away. That, you know, they only have to pay $13.35 for a base rate. Their water and sewer bills are triple and quadruple ours.
I don't know, I lived in other places in Florida in big areas, and, you know, the rates were comparable to, you know, to what we have here, maybe just a little bit higher.
No, they're a lot higher.
Well, they weren't where I lived in Coral Springs, which is a pretty big city. It's 100 and some thousand population.
It makes no sense because they can order meters by the palletful and get a cheaper price than what we can. We can't even get meter boxes. They're 6 months out. And we're on the list and have been on the list since February of last year.
And you think the, I don't know the name of it, the regulatory agency that you have to go through to get a rate increase, right? You can't, you think they're going to approve a 27% rate increase?
No, they won't.
Well, then what's the sense of recommending it if you know that they're not going to?
Because I would love for them to.
When you say us, you're talking about
Class
Lake, I'll talk about Lake Placid. Lake Placid is, he's saying that,
If I lived in town, I'd be happy to pay the increased rate.
yeah, but if it's not going to be approved by the regulatory agency, why submit it?
No, they
Put,
won't approve it for us because they're saying that, you know, our rate base, that's what they base it on, is our rate base. They say every time a customer comes in and pays us for a meter, that goes against our rate base. That's contributions in aid of construction. So we can't count that. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about that. We do. So our rate base is a little bit of nothing that we get to earn on, and so we can make $30,000 a year. We can make $30,000 a year.
okay, but you're talking about Placid Lakes, not
Yes,
Lake Placid.
yes.
Okay, but the object of the utility is to provide certain services, right? And to be
And
able to
break even.
maintain a service, not to make a profit above
That's
and
right.
beyond, you know.
Or lose.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, but I still say, what is the sense of requesting a 27% or whatever rate increase if you know if it's going to be turned down? I'm talking about Lake Placid now, not Placid Lakes, right?
Yeah, I think the
You said it
town,
was.
yeah, it doesn't matter what Placid Lakes' rates are really, or Clewiston's or
No, that's what
whoever.
I'm saying, but I don't know what rate increase this regulatory body will allow, but 27% seems pretty high to me. I would,
It's 22 and 5,
it's 27,
yeah.
right? Yeah, and 5% on the sewer, right? So what I'm saying is,
So what is your recommendation then? Because where do we just need recommendation to give to the
15%,
10%?
15%.
15%. Then that'll make all these other 8s probably 12s for the next 10
Whatever.
years or whatever. I mean, quick math, no?
Excuse me, I think there might be a little bit of miscommunication here. Town of Lake Placid, Leanne Bemis, Compliance Coordinator. So the regulatory system that Ms. Pam mentioned is because she's privately owned. We are a publicly owned municipality, so we do not have that regulatory system. Our system is only approved by our council.
Only by the council.
That is correct.
Okay.
And I feel they will approve it, whether we recommend it or not.
Well, that's up to them. That's their right to do that. But I can't in good conscience recommend it.
I understand. But do you have a recommendation? You said
15%.
Okay. You want to put that in the form of a motion?
I make a motion that we recommend to the city council that they increase the total utilities budget 15%.
Okay.
No, total. So 10 and 5, if you want to divide it that way, or
Motion fails for lack of a second. There we go. Made that easy. Okay. Council's going to do what they want to do, I guess, because
Yes, yeah.
we're kind of an impasse.
But it's kind of nice when we have a contingent with this board and their board, you know,
Sure.
but hey, that's,
Well, nobody wants a rate increase. I
no,
don't.
absolutely
you
not,
know.
no one wants to. But like you were saying, you know, the 22% going to 15%, you have a lot of infrastructure in the ground that hasn't been well kept up. And that's, you know, that's part of not making profit, it's having money for the budget to do upgrades and, you know, for pumps, lining of lift stations. Your lift stations, as far as I know, since they put in, haven't been upgraded. No, you get the new ones that are going in and like the Main
Makes it
Street,
more efficient, you get better
more
revenue.
efficient.
blah,
Your
blah,
pumps
blah,
are
right down
new,
the line.
you know, save on electricity. So, yeah, my opinion is most people don't really know what's going on because it's underground. You don't have cold water coming out your tap. That's the only time you call us. Or you have wastewater backing up in your house. Otherwise, people forget about it. And, you know, being in Florida, I've been here about 10 years working. You got your hydrogen sulfide gases that eat up your manholes, but you don't have a ton of manholes in town. But if you keep up with them, you're not replacing them or having them collapse. So my method is to keep the maintenance up so you don't have catastrophes or a pump go out like happened last or this year. Have to buy 2 pumps for $40,000. You know, if you keep on it, you could have replaced one a few years back, and then you have one in stock and rotate them and stuff like that. You know, people just, if it's not broke, they don't want to fix it, but you have to. And that's where you save money. You know, as long as you keep up on the infrastructure, you know, a little bit of investment saves you a lot down the road if you don't do nothing. Because when something goes bad, it goes bad. So, you know, you lose a manhole, now you just lost your sewer pipe. You got a water main, you know, say you had several water breaks on it, if you don't replace it, it's going to collapse or it's going to cost you 3 times as much down the road to fix it where you could have fixed it before. It's just about the infrastructure and keeping up on the maintenance. So basically the rate's not making a profit, it's giving us the funds the ability to stay up on old infrastructure and possibly do some in-house projects so we're not relying on grants. You know, if we can do some small in-house projects, we could bring water and sewer to like Lake Serene, Lake Pearl, any of the ones that have close pipes to them. You know, we wouldn't have to wait on the state. Then that would grow the utility by getting connections. And that's the whole thing. It's all about connections and revenue.
Just a general question.
Sure.
Is it a lot more expensive to provide the drinking water than it is treat the wastewater? Why is there such a difference in the rate increases that we need between the two? You know what I mean?
Well, basically what I see on their, when they did the asset plan for the water side, it's just a bunch of deficiencies that need to be replaced. That's why the water is probably up a little higher. Wastewater, you know, it costs more to treat than the water, because all we do is add chlorine and, I think, what do you guys put ammonia in and out here? I'm not positive. You know, the treatment's totally different in the cost. So wastewater does cost more than drinking water.
Okay.
Because
But
basically,
because you're getting a new plant from somebody else is paying for most of it.
Right.
That's why they.
Right, and you have the old plants, they're thinking that you decommission those, you're getting rid of all the electricity and the extra chemicals there and just going in one spot. But down the road, it's gonna balance out.
All right. I mean, just looking at it.
No, they're all
I
good
thought that
questions.
it would seem to me that it would cost more to treat the wastewater than it would to.
Yes.
To get, you know, but yet,
No, they're all good questions.
okay.
Anything else?
Okay.
So you're gonna ask for a motion, or?
He gave his motion. There was no second. It failed for lack of a second. Correct? Okay. Well, we can open that motion back up then. 15% increase is what his motion was. Still stands, right?
Yes.
On water and 15 on waste?
No.
Okay.
15% total.
Total.
Yeah, if you can divide it
Okay,
up,
we need to separate that though, don't we?
you
Shouldn't we?
know, 10 and
Doesn't
5,
matter.
or 12 and a half, and,
10 and 5?
yeah, 10 and 5.
Okay. 10 water, 5 wastewater is the recommendation. Is the Band-Aid. What you got? Is there a second?
I'll just wait, because I think it should be higher.
Okay. Motion fails for lack of a second. Anything else? Anything from the public? Ms. Pam?
Pam Fintress, 12373 Lost Lake Drive, Lake Placid. So the town historically has been living off state and federal grants for their infrastructure, their water and sewer. Those days are gone, or they're nearing the end. The town would have had a much larger deficit over the last several years, but the $40 million grant, the so-and-so grant, you're paying for staff, a lot of the administration staff, off of these grants. That money is gone. There's none in 2026. There won't be any, maybe you get some in 2027, 2028, but this is a new reality. Don't count on these other grants. So the Magnolia plant, it was down. I think you said for 3 years, Bert?
The well.
The well. So you're a town that has no backup system. Your well's done. It took 3 years. They were coming here asking for money for the well to be replaced or fixed, and it's only finally gotten done this year. Y'all live emergency to emergency. Things don't get fixed until they break. You're not doing the operation and maintenance. You're not doing the normal wear and tear and the replacement. I don't think it was mismanagement so much as it was poor planning, in that things are at the end of their life cycle, 20, 30-year-old end of the life cycle. They need to be replaced. I've seen time and time again, staff will bring it up. We need to get a rotating schedule, start addressing, replacing 10% of this each year. But then that gets pushed the next year, and then it is when something's an emergency. Last town budget workshop last week, Councilwoman Charles Talked about the Interlake pipe bursting project. She said it was over budget, like $450,000, like a deficit. Y'all don't have, you've had some reserves in the past. You don't have that going forward. The Interlake pipe bursting was asbestos, water lines being replaced. And those are probably 50-year-old lines. You have to build up money and funds so you can do projects like this, replace the hydrants. There was the one that said it was failed. You and I read the report, Jack, and you know that there were 10% of it. They couldn't even find the valves and stuff. So what are we going to do? And I know that you, Bert, you said at the last meeting, we'll just go down to the next valve or the next hydrant and do something. You're just going, not even Band-Aid approach. I don't know, I would have a hard time if I was a town resident, and it's 22% increase for 2026, 8% increase the following 3 years, then 5%. But you're on target to have a $480,000 deficit this year. And so next year, with the 22%, I'm just talking about the water part of it, you're going to have a profit of $22,100. That's if you do the rate increase. If you don't, you're going to be in the hole again, another $500,000, and then another $500,000. So I think there's other things to consider. It is a big jump, but this is something I think council needs to really talk about and understand how much in the hole y'all are in. You're not getting new customers per se to hook up to the town water and sewer. So I can't remember, there's 3,500 water customers and 500 wastewater. The reason why it's so out of whack is you have Tomoka, you have these different places, Highway Park, that doesn't have the sewer part of it like Highway Park, but you have the water part, Lake June. Remember 6 months ago, a guy came in on Lake June Road. It would be $40,000 to put an 1.5-inch line to his house, or $100,000 to do a 4-inch line so you could hook up the neighbors. Y'all didn't have any reserves. I mean, theoretically, you'd say, okay, great, you're going to pay $40,000. We got $60,000 in reserves. We'll put in the bigger line, and then we'll get the neighbors to connect, and we've got more customers. Y'all don't have $60,000 in reserves. You don't have money in reserves. You're not taking care of what's currently there. I do respect that it's a large increase, and then there's probably going to be a millage rate increase from 3.1 to 3.65. I respect that and understand that. It's been too low for too long, and now's the time you have to catch up before, emergencies happen. Things get hit by lightning. Things, because they're not been perhaps properly maintained or done in the budget. I've seen the 3 trucks that are listed here for requests for trucks being replaced year after year after year. So it's a 2010, 2013, 15.
Something like that.
And so what are we going to do? We just bump it to the next year. There's no money. You bump it to the next year. And also, I'm getting off track here, and I'm sorry, I'll wrap it up. At the budget meeting, it wasn't just utility enterprise fund, not enterprise fund, but was in a deficit. You had 2 or 3 of the other town areas that are projected to be in a deficit. So one last thing, the CRA that the town has, I went to that meeting, and I think y'all should be tapping into the community redevelopment agency funds for like force mains and stuff. They've been spending a lot of money on the flowers and, the different pots and stuff. But I went back and I read the mission statement and read all those things. And what it was originally intended to be, infrastructure is at the top, and water and sewer is at the top. And I think this committee should be advocating for those funds for your water and sewer. And maybe you don't have to do the 22% increase if you get some of those funding. But without the water and sewer, your infrastructure, your town dies. Thanks.
Thank you.
But it'll be great with pickleball courts.
Ms. Worley.
Deborah Worley, 380 East Dinner Lake Boulevard, Lake Placid, Florida. I'm also Vice Mayor of the town. I can't say much because we're in the sunshine here, but I wanted to tell you what I said at the workshop. And it's hard to raise rates. It's hard to ask people to pay more money. So let me tell you something. I do property management. I have a new project out in Highlands Park Estates. That's well water. In order to get them water that doesn't smell like rotten eggs and is like yellow to orange coming out of the pipe, it's going to cost the owner $165 a month to give those tenants good water. I just want to say, we provide a service, and it's not $165 a month just for water. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Board?
No.
Okay.
Okay.